The people running Enron were not stupid. They had MBAs from Harvard, Wharton, MIT. They were widely considered the smartest people in American business. Fortune magazine named Enron the most innovative company in the country, 6 years in a row. And yet, they destroyed everything, not despite their intelligence. And we'll see, partly because of it. So what exactly happens when smart people start believing their own story? And why does it almost always end the same way? Richard Feynman won the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1965. By most accounts, he was one of the most brilliant scientists of the 20th century. But what made him unusual wasn't his intelligence. It was his obsession with a specific kind of danger. The danger of fooling yourself.
I can live with doubt and uncertainty and not knowing. I think it's much more interesting to live not knowing than to have answers which might be wrong.
Feynman had watched it happen his entire career. Brilliant scientists falling in love with their own theories, unconsciously ignoring evidence that didn't fit, finding smarter and smarter reasons to keep believing what they already believed. Psychologists have a name for this: motivated reasoning. Your brain doesn't start with the evidence and works towards a conclusion. It starts with the conclusion, usually the one that makes you feel good, and works backwards to find the evidence. And the worrying part is that the smarter you are, the better you are at finding that evidence. Intelligence doesn't protect you from motivated reasoning. It even makes you more sophisticated at it. Which brings us back at Enron. Because what happened there wasn't just fraud. It was motivated reasoning at a scale most people never get to witness. By the late 1990s, Enron executives had built a story about themselves. They were revolutionizing energy. They were smarter than the market. And because they were all in the same room, all equally convinced, they stopped questioning each other.
Welcome everyone to Enron Gas Services Solutions Day. If our work environment were stable and unchanging, routine would be fine. But in EGS, change is constant. We know what to do, and we do it well. Examples abound around our organization. Today, you'll experience some of the most successful solutions provided by EGS people just like you and me.
There's another name for this one: groupthink. And the need to agree inside a group overrides the ability to think clearly as individuals. Warning signs appeared early. Analysts raised questions about Enron's accounting. Journalists wrote critical articles. Internal employees had doubts. But inside the room, the story held. Because everyone in the room had too much invested in the story being true. That's what motivated reasoning does at a scale. It doesn't just blind one person. It builds a shared reality that an entire organization agrees to live inside. Until the outside world tears it down. So if this can happen to some of the most educated, most successful people in the world, what exactly is the way out? Feynman's answer wasn't what most people expect. He didn't say, think harder, read more, surround yourself with smarter people. He said, try to prove yourself wrong, actively. Treat your own ideas the way a good scientist treats a hypothesis, as something to be tested and not protected. This is harder than it actually sounds, because every time you've invested time, money or identity into a belief, your brain will fight to protect it. And that's not a weakness, that's just how the brain works. But knowing that is the first step to catching it. And the people who actually get good at this, they tend to have one thing in common. They're comfortable being wrong, because they have separated their identity from their ideas. The idea can be wrong, and they are still doing fine. Feynman was famous for changing his mind publicly, for saying, I was wrong about that. with the same energy most people reserve for being right. He considered it a sign of intellectual health, not weakness. Enron's executives couldn't do that. By the end, admitting that they were wrong would have meant admitting everything. So they kept going, deeper and deeper into a story that was no longer true. The gap between those two outcomes isn't intelligence. It's a willingness to ask one question that most people never think to ask. When was actually the last time that you tried to prove yourself wrong?